With us this week are two Booster Club presidents from Naperville Central and from Waubonsie Valley, Gene Beacom and Brandy Boomgarden. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to come visit us.
Well, thank you for having us here.
So I want to get right into it. Gene, I want to start with you. Booster Clubs, they're synonymous with the high school athletic experience. You see them everywhere. You hear the name Booster Club everywhere, but not a ton of people know what exactly a Booster Club does. Can you kind of explain how you got involved with the Booster Club when you first did a few years ago?
Sure, yes. So my older daughter, when she started at Waubonsie a few years ago, she's now in college, but really when she was a freshman and she was in her, the two sports that she was in at that time, really the coaches told us really that it was a good thing to get involved with boosters. Still didn't know exactly what they did at that point, but we knew that they did good things for the student athletes. So, you know, we got involved, we became booster members, and then, you know, a couple years later, I wanted to get more involved with the high school. And so I contacted the boosters and they said, why don't you come to one of our meetings and kind of
indoctrinate
got
you
sucked in from there. But I did say that I really wanted to get involved with some fundraising and in particular golf. So I got involved with their fundraiser and the golf outing, which is one of their largest fundraisers of the year. So, and then kind of the rest is history, I guess.
I hear a lot of similarities in that story with yours as well.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And then the golf outing, I think, is probably one of our biggest recruiters. That's how I got involved with the Booster Club when my oldest son was going through about his freshman year. Got involved with the golf outing. The board of the Booster Club said, yeah, you should be involved. By the way, you're going to be president in like 3 years. I'm like, okay, I guess. And yeah, I got involved because we support all the athletes. And growing up, I was an athlete. I knew my parents were in a Booster Club, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. And as you get involved with the school and everything's working, you want to help out. And it's been an absolute joy.
You said recruiting, and usually we think of recruiting as a student athlete kind of thing, but you guys are recruiting parents, and I want to know why. Why should parents engage with the Booster Clubs? What benefit does that have for them and for you as well?
I mean, besides the fact that, you know, they do so much for the student athlete and the teams, really, but it's really a great way to get to know more parents, more families, just feel like a part of the community. So, I don't know.
So it's kind of networking.
Yeah, right, it is. And I think it's you know, you build friendships through that, you know, and I think that I've built some friendships definitely through, you know, being a part of Boosters as well.
The community aspect of what the Booster Club brings, you know, for instance, one of our biggest things, like the golf outing, we get our coaches out there, parents get to meet coaches they might not see on a regular basis. They see them on when they're coaching their kids, and they might talk to them a little bit here and there, but to get them out in a social setting, we do a golf outing. We did a bowling event a few times. We try to get some of the administration and coaches out there mingling with the parents and everybody connecting together to build that full community around the athletics.
You both have said it's such a positive thing for the athlete and to network for the parents, but what are the specific things that a Booster Club does to provide that athletic experience, Gene?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't know the extent of really what the Booster Club does, but I mean, the fact is that they donate $40,000 a year to all the sports teams.
Wow.
And so it's not just, you know, warm-ups. It's the scoreboard. It's concussion testing for all of the athletes, which is huge.
Yeah.
Another part is too, a lot of the coaches like to ask for iPads, and you know, it's special software.
Yeah.
And so that way the athletes can become better athletes and really, you know, I think that enhances the experience.
We run our concession stands that bring in money. So we're providing a service for the fans at the games, but we're bringing in money. Our goal is to support every athletic event at Central. There's Central, I think there's 28 to 30 sports going on. We have bought everything from new lacrosse nets so that The lacrosse ball doesn't go onto the track as the track athletes are practicing, wrestling mats to items in the pool. Most people think that the Booster Club is only about football, because football is one of the biggest sports, obviously, and it's every Friday night in the fall. And everybody thinks that the Booster Club is only involved with football, and it's so much more than that. We give 6 scholarships a year, $1,000 scholarships to our senior athletes. Raising those funds, having essay competitions in the spring for our senior athletes, celebrating their 4 years at Naperville Central as an athlete. We do an event for that, and we give them $1,000 they can use for anything they want as they head off to college. I think that's one of the biggest things that we do.
Well, I appreciate the concession stand personally, because that has saved me on a few Friday nights for sure. But we got to take a quick break. We'll talk about those dreaded terms, COVID-19, and how it has impacted booster clubs. But we'll be right back after a word from our presenting sponsor.
Wow, you ready?
Yeah, let me just grab my wallet.
Uh-oh, I've seen this before. Wallet way too big, skinny jeans too skinny.
I'll just carry it.
Before you break something, you should know you don't actually need a wallet. With BMO Harris, you can just take cash out with your phone. Or if you need to, you can pay them with Zelle.
That works?
Yeah. You're stuck, aren't you?
Smile.
Woo! Those jeans are way too tight.
That feeling you get when no wallet is no big deal. That's the BMO effect.
We're back talking with a pair of our local school booster club presidents, and it's been a very dreaded fall. And the lead up to it was a lot of anticipation on how it would look, whether we would have sports or not. Thankfully, we do have some sports, but I know the opportunities for you guys to make an impact has been limited a little bit. Randy, I want to start with you and at Central. COVID-19, I can imagine, has kind of wrecked your game plan, for the lack of a non-sports term.
Very much so, and as Gene said earlier, that we put out about $40,000. We bring that in and we put it back into the school annually. We don't really carry over a lot of money. We might have a few funds that we carry over, but the fundraising really starts in June. Usually the first week after school is out, we have our golf outing.
Yeah.
And this year, as things were going on, we were talking about, should we have a golf outing? Can we have a golf outing? And obviously with everything going on, we could not have a golf outing. That usually brings in about $20,000 at Central.
Yeah.
Then, throughout the summer, you try to monitor and everything. Once you get to the fall, the big push is memberships. Memberships at Central bring in almost $30,000. We didn't want to charge people memberships, because part of the membership is tickets to the games. You get a pass so you can go into the games. We get parking on Friday nights for football. Obviously, none of that was happening. So we restructured our membership plan for this year and made it a $75 commitment. What you got was a NFHS pass, which is the streaming.
Yeah.
We have cameras in our stadium and in our gym that the Booster Club put in a few years ago, so that everything at Central in those two facilities gets streamed. And so we wanted to give everybody a pass so that they could get that and watch their kids compete. $75 for membership, just something to bring some money in.
Yeah.
Our number one goal this year is to provide those $6,000 in scholarships. And right now it looks like we are going to hit that goal. And that may be all we do this year, is just cover those senior athlete scholarships and be able to, if we can, host a function in the spring to celebrate them.
Yeah. How about Wilbon? What does it look like right now?
Yeah, it definitely has been difficult. Just like Randy was saying, we had to cancel our golf outing, and that is our largest fundraiser. And membership has really been down. There's a couple reasons too. One is definitely with readiness days. We have readiness days, and that's something that new parents and returning parents come in and they pay for their child's fees and all that, and they just weren't able to walk through the building, so we weren't able to have our table there. And I feel like sometimes out of sight, out of mind, and so really our membership is really down to about a third this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure that out as well. We also provide scholarships, so we'll also do that for the seniors this year. Yeah, I'd have to say it's definitely has been difficult because we also make money off of our concessions.
Yeah.
And concessions hasn't been open.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been tough. But many of the coaches still put in their allocations. We have fulfilled that, but it is going to be less than $40,000 this year. And to really have a strong next year, we really need to continue to have membership and fundraising. So we're trying to get creative and think outside the box. Just recently, we had a pop-up Warrior Warehouse event.
Cool.
And that brought in some of our money, and so that was a great event. That's our second this year. And so with that pop-up event, it was at someone's house in one of the subdivisions, and I think this time they had a pretzel truck, so
the concession stand comes to
you. Know what? It worked out. I think a lot of people had fun. It was a good turnout, and we hope people show up at the next pop-up event.
I suppose the only silver lining from this whole thing is parking has not been an issue at any of these events.
Right.
But that's about it. But I want to say thank you to both of you for coming by and explaining this, and hopefully maybe this gets some awareness out in some of those new parents, the freshmen and sophomores that are getting familiar with programs and athletics will reach out and maybe sign on and seek out their booster club. So thank you so much for swinging by. We appreciate it.
Thank you
for having us.
All right, coming up next, we'll go to our fan play of the week. We'll be right back on Naperville Sports Weekly.